bkgoswami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrindigajai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Kijai Vrindavan Kijai Maturadam Kijai Jagannath Swami Kijai Yamunamai Kijai Srimati Lasi Devi Kijai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindigajai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Pristaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharani. Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatardi. Prabhupada ki jai. So let me read the translation of this poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gurudev, give this servant just one drop of mercy. I'm lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are without desires or aspirations. Gurudev, I offer you all respects. For thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. When will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no good qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So, before we go on to the Caitanya Bhagavat, which is our nightly reading, I just want to mention something about today that is very auspicious. I'm in ecstasy to talk about it, complete ecstasy, because it actually involves the gopis' intense desire to be with Krishna and to have Krishna as their husband and not to have any other flesh and blood husband or any flesh and blood husband. So what happens is this, of course, Kartik is over. I think everybody understands that. Hopefully everybody understands that. So right after Kartik is over, that was yesterday, then the first day is actually considered the first month of the winter season. That is not, of course, where we are. Usually the first month of the winter season in the Northern Hemisphere. It's like the 20-something, 22nd, 23rd, whatever it is, which is the winter solstice. But in India, the first month of the winter season is considered the day after the month of Kartik. And so that day is also considered a special day for worshiping Katyayani. And I'm going to describe who Katyayani is in a second. Some of you may think that Katyayani is Durga, the same thing as Durga, this material world. Not true. Okay. Not true. She is actually Yogamaya. Because let's talk about the ontology of the energies of the Lord. You have Srimati Radharani, who is the Adi Shakti. Then after that you have the other gopis. Then after that you have the wives of Krishna and Dwarka. And then after that you have the Lakshmis. And so part of that whole descending line, I don't want to use the word descending, but connection, is Yogamaya or Purnamasi, who is none different than Katyayani. And so that's who the gopis were worshipping. Although they might have made deities like the Katyayani we know in this world, still their worship was completely on the spiritual platform. So this Katyani Vrat is made for the specific purpose of someone getting a husband that they want. And gopis, of course, they only wanted one person as a husband, not any other rascal or any, I can't say other rascal. Krishna was a rascal too. So, so for the entire month, beginning today till the end of the month, and I'm going to, at the end of the month, we'll talk about what it means when Katyani Vrat, not Kartik, when Katyani Vrat ends, what happens at that particular point. So I'm not going to get into that at this particular point. But for the entire month, they're eating something called the Havishana, which basically is unspiced dal, dal like a khichdi or something like that, without any sugar, no, what else? No ghee, just no salt, just like really austere. And so what they had to do in addition was bathe in the Yamuna River right at sunrise. And it's very cold in the Yamuna River at this particular point in Vrindavan. And then they would make a earthen goddess or earthen deity of the goddess Durga. And they worshipped her with like sandalwood pulp and lamps and everything like that. And so many opulent things they offered. And then they would pray. Here's the prayer. So, all right. Should I read the Sanskrit? Yeah, I read the Sanskrit. It's beautiful. Katyani Mahamaye Mahayogin Adishvari Nanda Gopasatam Devi Pati Me Kurute Namaha Iti Mantram Japantyasta Pujam Chaktru Kumarikaha. So the young married girls would perform their worship and they would chant the following mantra. O goddess Katyayani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nanda Maharaj my husband. I offer obeisances to you. See if there's anything else I want to mention. Oh, can't think of anything else right now. Anyway, so this was the whole month that they were praying like that. And at the end of the month, I'm going to describe the results of their prayer, but it's not the end of the month right now. So we'll go on to the Caitanya Bhagavat. So, going on to the Caitanya Bhagavat, Om Ganati Miranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavrinda. No, we do not recite that mantra. Well, at the same time, I had some disciples who really wanted husbands, and they recited it, and the husband came at the end of the month. So, be that as it may, as long as you understand that the Katyayani you are worshiping is Yogamaya, because we don't advise people to worship material gods, devis, or devas like that. Okay, so let's go on to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let me share the screen. Hold on a second. All right, one second. A little glitch here. Okay, there we go. screen with, let me find that screen. I got so many windows open. Here it is. So we are on the fifth chapter of the Caitanya Bhagavat, and in this particular chapter, bringing you up to speed, there's an itinerant Brahmin. That means a Brahmin who just wanders around and chants the holy names. And this Brahmin was a pure devotee to the Lord. He had a Shalagram Shila and Gopal deity, and he was traveling around the world visiting different people, and he happened to come to Lord Chaitanya's house. That is Vishwambar, or Nimai's house. And this itinerant Brahmin was received nicely by Jagannath Mishra, and Jagannath Mishra said to him, I'm going to give you all sorts of ingredients for preparing the offering for your deities. Because, as I explained in the previous class, the Brahmanas would, in many cases, not allow anyone to cook for them, even if the other person was a Brahmin. In some cases, they wouldn't even allow their wife to cook for them. So in this particular case, this Brahmin, he was a sannyasi, obviously didn't have a wife, and so he cooked for himself and he cooked for his deities. So he was offered ingredients by Jagannath Mishra, and he cooked some nice preparations to offer his deities, put them on the altar right in front of the deities, got ready to say his prayers, and Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the little baby, came up and grabbed it and started eating the rice. And of course that spoiled the offering. Of course it didn't really spoil the offering because he was offering to Krishna. And Krishna came, but he didn't know that. And the Brahmana was upset, and Jagannath Mishra got even more upset at his little boy. He got ready to hit him, and the Brahmana said, don't do it. It's not possible. It's not right to chastise someone who is foolish. And especially you don't chastise a child who doesn't have the ability to discriminate between right and wrong. That's true. Before a certain age, a child does not accrue karma because he doesn't have that ability. After a certain age, of course, he does accrue karma. So, we're starting at this particular point where the Brahmana is actually talking to Jagannath Mishra and telling him, don't beat this boy. So, let's continue. Mishra, you are supposed to be a cultured Aryan. What is the use of beating this ignorant boy? And so, in the commentary, it says, the Brahmana said, O Mishra, you are elderly and respectable, and he is only a foolish child, so it is not worthwhile to punish him for his foolishness. Baravanda Gyana Yara Takemari Tare Amara Shapata Yadi Maraha Uhare. Only one who can distinguish between right and wrong may be beaten. Therefore, I forbid you from beating this child. There's no benefit in punishing a child who does not know what is right and wrong. Therefore, I forbid you from punishing him. Duke Vasilena Mishra Hastadiya Shive Mata Nahi Tole Mishra Vachana Naspure. Jagannath Mishra then sat down in distress, holding his head with his hands. He could not speak or lift his head. So this is the culture in those days, that you felt if you offended a Brahmana or offended a guest, your life was finished. So this whole point of, as we mentioned in the previous class, of Atiti Narayan, when a guest comes to your house without any appointment, without any knowledge, foreknowledge, he is to be treated as Narayan, even if the guest happens to be your enemy, as in the case when Jarasandha received Krishna and Arjuna and Bhimsen. Viprabole Mishaduka na va vihomane ye dine ye hoive taha ishvara se jane. The Brahmana said, my dear Mishra, please don't feel sad. Whatever is meant to happen on that particular day is known only to the Lord. So this is the commentary. A person gets only the food that has been allotted to him by the will of the Supreme Lord. One must know that the Supreme Lord alone gives one the fruits of one's activities. A living entity is unaware of the future. Whatever is unknown to the living entity is known to the Supreme Lord. So in other words, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is behind even this whole material creation. Was it Yom Mam Pashati Sarvatra Sarvam Jamai Pashati Tashaham Na Pranashami Sacha Me Na Pranashati. As Krishna says, one should see him everywhere and see everything in him, and that person is never lost to him. To him means Krishna. Palamula Hari Grihe Ye Take Tumara Ani Deha Ajitaha Kariba Ahara. Please bring whatever fruits and roots are there in your house, and I will eat those today. In other words, I'm just going to eat raw food. It's not going to be practical to cook. Mishabole Moriari Take Bricha Gyana Arabara Pakakara Kari Dana Stana. Jagannath Mishra said, if you will at all consider me your servant, then please cook again. I will make all arrangements. One should carefully study the humble statements befitting a Vaishnava that Jagannath Mishra spoke to his Vaishnava guest. Griheyache Randanera Sakala Sambara Puna Paka Karatabe Santosha Amara. We have all the ingredients for cooking in the house. Please cook again, then I will feel satisfied. The word sangbhara means the ingredients are necessary items. Balate lagila yata ishtabandhu gana amasaba chahitabe karaha randana. All the friends and relatives of Jagannath Mishra present there also requested the Brahmana, please be merciful to us and cook again. So the phrase Ama Sabha Chahi means by mercifully glancing on us. Viprabole Yecha Toma Zabakara Karibarandana Sarvataya Punar Bara. The Brahmana said, all right, according to your desire, I will certainly cook again. The word sarvataya means certainly or in all respects. Harishahaila sabe vipravachane stana upaskari lena sabe tatakshane. Everyone there was happy to hear the Brahmana's decision, and they immediately cleaned the kitchen. Randhanera saja ani dilena dwarite chalilena vipravara randhana kadite. They quickly assembled all the ingredients, and the Brahmana began to cook. Sabe bolena shishu parama chanchala harabara pache nashta kariye sakala. Everyone concluded, this child is very restless and may spoil the offering again. Let me just look at the, hold on a second, I want to make sure the sound level appears to be a little low. A little higher. So they were very worried about Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu spoiling the offering again. So what do? Randana bhojana viprakarena yavat aravari laye shishu rakaha tavat. Therefore, please take him to another house until the Brahmana finishes cooking and eating. Okay, they want to take precautions. Tabe sashi devi putre koleta kriya chalilena arabhari borelaya. Sachi Devi then took her son in her arms and went to a neighbor's house. Sabanari ganapole, shunain re nimai, ematakaria ki viprera anakoi. All the ladies there said, "Listen, Nimai, you shouldn't have eaten the Brahmana's rice like that." Hasya Balina Prabhu Sri Chandravadane Amara Kidosha Vipra Dakila Apane. The Lord smiled with his moon-like face and replied, "What is my fault? The Brahmana called me," which is true. But the ladies didn't understand what he was talking about. Text 55 to 56. Sabe Bolena Aini Mai Dongati Kikariba Eveye Tumara Gila Jati Kotakara Brahmana Kongula Kibachine Taravata Kaijati Rakiba Kemane. Everyone then said, "Oh, deceitful Nimai, what will you do now that you have lost your caste? Who knows that Brahman? What is his caste? Where is he from? Now that you've eaten his rice, how will you maintain your caste?" The word Dangati refers to a person who cheats and who is duplicitous or who is overly clever. The ladies are saying, "Nimai, in order to display your cheating, duplicity, and cleverness, you've accepted the foodstuff touched by this unknown Brahmin. Therefore, you have fallen from the exalted status of your family." Hasya Kahina Prabhu Amiye Goyala Brahmanerana Ami Kai Sarva Kala. The Lord smiled and said, "I'm a coward boy, and I always eat Brahman's rice." That's who he was. The Lord replied, "I belong to the coward community, so I always eat foodstuffs given by the Brahmanas." From this statement, it is established that the Lord is the knower of past, present, and future, and that the Lord is controlled by the Brahmanas. Furthermore, his mischievous coward boy nature is also established. Brahmanera aniki gopera jatiyaya eta polihashya sabari prabhu jaya. How can a coward boy lose his caste by eating a Brahman's rice? Saying this, the Lord looked at everyone and smiled. Chale nija tattva prabhu karena vyakyana tatapina buje keha hena maya tana. In this way, the Lord revealed his identity while speaking deceptively, but by the influence of his maya, no one could understand him. The word Nija Tattva refers to the personal form as Sri Krishna. Sabaya Sena Shuni Prabhura Vachana Vakshahaite Edite Kaharo Nahi Mana. Everyone laughed upon hearing the Lord's explanation. No one wanted to set him down from their embrace. The word edite means to set down or to leave. Hasya Yayena Prabhu Ye Janara Kole Se Jana Ananda Sagara Mache Bule. The Lord smiled and sat on various people's laps. Whoever held him merged into an ocean of bliss. Se Viprapunar Bara Karyarandana Lagilena Vasya Karite Nivedana. Meanwhile, the Brahmana finished cooking again, so he sat down to make the offering. Jane Balagopal Babena Vipravata Jani Lena Godachandra Vichitera Ishvara. In meditation, the Brahmana called Balagopal, that means little Gopal, child Gopal, to eat, and Lord Gaurasundra, the Supersoul, immediately came to know this. The word Chitera Ishvara refers to the Lord in the heart, or the Supersoul. Mohya Sakala Loka Ati Alakshite Aelena Viprastane Hasite Hasite. Putting everyone into illusion, the Lord secretly came before the Brahmin with a smile on his face. The word Mohya means bewildering. Alakshite Eka Mushtayana Lana Kare Kayakchatila Prabhu deke vipravare. Unseen by others, the Lord then took a handful of rice and ate it as the Brahmana watched. This poor Brahmana, actually, fortunate Brahmana. Hey, Kariya, Utila Vipravara, Takora, Kaya, Bata, Dila, Eka, Rara. The Brahmana immediately cried, Alas, alas! And the Lord, after eating the rice, fled away. The word Rada means run. In Bangladesh, the word is Lada. Text 67. Sambrame Uttiya Misha Haite Vadilaya Krode Takure Re Daya Ya 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 Dia Diao Ya Ya. Enraged, Jagannath Mishra got up, took a stick in his hand, and chased after the Lord in anger. In this verse, the word Sambrame means enraged. The word vadi means stick. In Bangladesh, it is called a tenga. The word takurere means to the Lord. The word yaya means to follow or to chase swiftly. Mahabhaye Prabhu Palailaika Gare Krode Mishra Pache Taki Tarja Karja Kare. The Lord fearfully fled into another room with Jagannath Mishra chasing behind and chastised him in anger. So the word Tarja Karja refers to verbal chastisement or angrily scolding to instill fear. Mishra Bole Ajideka Karon Torah Karya Torah Mate Padma Aboda Ami Arya. Jagannath Mishra said, just wait and see what I'll do to you today. Although I'm an Aryan, you consider me a fool. Jagannath Mishra said, oh naughty boy, today I will punish you for your mischief. I am so learned and respectable, and you consider me a great fool. This is extremely unreasonable. Hena Mahachora Kishukara Goreache Etapali Krode Mishradaya Prabhu Pache. Who was such a great thief for a son? Saying this, Jagannath Mishra chased after the Lord in anger. Sabe Dadilena Yatna Kriya Mishre Mishra Bole Eda Aji Marimu Udhare. Everyone present tried to restrain Mishra, but he said, leave me alone. Today I'll beat him. Save Bolena Mishra Tumita Udara Uhare Maria Kon Sad Hutwa Tumara. They then pleaded, O Mishra, you are by nature magnanimous. What kind of intelligence would you exhibit by beating him? The word Ada means leave me alone or stay away. The Bangladesh word Marimu means I will beat or I will punish. The word Sadhutwa means supremacy or intelligence. Balamanda Gyana Nahi Uhara Sharire Parama Aboda Yamhana Shishumare. He doesn't understand what is right and what is wrong. Whoever beats such a child is a great fool. Marile konva shikibe hena naya swabhave shishura chanchala mati haya. He will not learn simply by being beaten. Children are all restless by nature. Children are mischievous by nature, therefore even if you try to teach him, he won't learn. Ate vyate ase se tairitika brahmana mishrera darya hate bolena vachana. At that time the mendicant Brahmin hastily came there. Holding the hands of Jagannath Mishra, he spoke. Balakera nahi dosha shuna Mishra raya ye dine ye haibe hoibe taha haibare chaya. Listen, Mishra, this child is not at fault. Whatever is meant to happen on a particular day will certainly take place. The word Raya refers to one's worshipful lord or master, as stated in the Hito Padesha Yadabhavi Na Tad Bhavi Chen Natad Anyata. Whatever is not meant to be will never be, and whatever is meant to be cannot be otherwise. That's interesting. That's like that song, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Adi Krishnana Nahi Likena Mare Savihe Marmakata Kahilun Tumare. Today Krishna has not allotted me any rice. I'm telling you, this is my realization. So Lord Krishna is the bestower of the fruits of work and the supreme controller. In this verse, the word likena means will supply, that is, today no food is allotted to me. The word marma kata means mystery or confidential topics of the mind. Duke Jagannatha Mishra Nahi Tole Mukha Mataheta Kriya Bhavena Mane Dukkha. Feeling distressed, Jagannath Mishra was unable to raise his head. He looked at the ground and simply lamented. Hey Nai Samadye Vishvarupa Bhagavan Seistane Lena Mahajyotir Dhamma. At that time, the most powerful and effulgent Vishvarupa came there. Of course, Vishvarupa was Lord Chaitanya's brother. He's an expansion of Lord Nityananda Balaram, elder brother. Sarvange Nirupama Lavanyera Simha Chaturdasha Bhuvaneo Nahika Upama. There's no comparison to the matchless sweetness of Vishvarupa's bodily limbs. Skande Yagna Sutra Brahmateja Murti Manta Murti Bede Janmila Apani Nityananda. A Brahman thread hung on his shoulder. He is the source of the Brahman effulgence, Brahman effulgence, and though in a different form, he is directly Lord Nityananda. Sarva Shastrarartha Sadaspuraye Jivaya Krishna Bhakti Vyakya Matra Karye Sadaya. The purport of all scriptures is eternally manifest on the tongue of Vishvarup. Thus he is always engaged in preaching devotional service to Lord Krishna. The light that illuminates material objects is called Jyoti, but the light that illuminates spiritual objects is called Shuddhasattva, pure goodness, or Mahajyoti. The source of this Jyoti is Sri Baladeva, and Sri Vishvarupa is none different from him. Lord Nityananda manifested another form as Sri Vishvarupa. Vishvarupa always explained the purport of all scriptures to be devotional service to Lord Krishna. In other words, he never misinterpreted the purport of the scriptures and induced the living entities to engage in material enjoyment. Dekya Purva Murti Thaitika Brahmana Mugdahaya Ekadrishte Chahi Gane Gana. Seeing his extraordinary beauty, the mendicant Brahmana was struck with wonder and stared at him continuously. Viprabole Karaputra E Mahashaya Sabibolena E Mishrera Tanaya. The Brahmana then said, "Whose son is this?" The people replied, "He is the son of Jagannath Mishra." Shunya Santoshe Vipra Kaila Alingana Tanya Pata Mata Yara Ehina Nantana. The Brahmana was satisfied to hear this. He embraced Vishvarup and remarked, "Glorious are the father and mother of such a son." Viprere Kariya Vishvarupa Namaskara Vaisya Kahina Kata Amritera Dara. Vishvarup offered obeisances to the Brahman. He then sat down and began speaking words that were like a stream of nectar. Shubhadine Tara Mahabhagai Bhagyera Utaya Tumihena Atitiya Hara Grehaya. Whoever receives a guest like you has attained a great fortune. English there. has attained a great fortune on that auspicious day. A little correction of the English. Jagat Jyotite se Tamara Pariyatana Atmanande Punahai Kadaha Brahmana. Although you are self-satisfied, still you travel about in order to sanctify the world. Sri Vishwarupa described the pure characteristics of a Parivrajakacharya to the mendicant Brahmin. The devotees of the Lord are always self-satisfied, and they are filled with ecstasy by serving Krishna. Therefore, rather than traveling like mundane tourists, they visit attached householders in order to revive their Krishna consciousness. So that's the duty of a sannyasi. So when I go to different places, I do not go to the tourist places. I mean, I've been to the UK, never went to see Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and I go to Australia, and I'm not interested in the Harbour Bridge, and I'm not interested in the Opera House, the Sydney Opera House, or any of those things. It's all boring. The whole material world is simply repetitive. It's just the same stuff in different bottles. Or as Prabhupada said, old wine in new bottles. So, Bhagyavada tumihena atityamara abhagyavaki kahiva upasa tumara. It is our great fortune that we have a guest like you. But we are also unfortunate because you are fasting. The word upasa means upavasa, or fasting. Tumi upavasa kare taka yara gare sarvata tahara amangala pala dare. If you fast while standing in someone's house, it will simply bear inauspicious fruits. Harisha painu bada tumara darshane vishada painu bada esava shavane. I am greatly satisfied by seeing you, but I'm very sad to hear about what happened. By seeing you, I'm jubilant, but because you are fasting, I'm unhappy. Therefore, I am both happy and sad. Viprabole kichuduka na bhavihamane palamula kichuami kariba bhojane. The Brahmana said, please do not feel sad. I will eat some fruits and roots. Vanavasyami anakotaya vapae prayahami vane pala mula matrakaye. I live in the forest, so where can I get rice? I am accustomed to eating fruits and roots in the forest. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:25-25, it is stated, Vanam tu satviko vaso gramo rajasa uchate. Residence in the forest is in the mode of goodness, while residence in a town is in the mode of passion. Kadachit kona divase. Of course, residence in a holy place, you make your home a holy place, then it's transcendental. It's not in passion, ignorance, or goodness. Kadachit kona divase va kayana seha yadi nirvir rode haya upasana. I seldom eat rice, only when it is easily available. So the word nirvirode means without obstacle, and the word upasana means present or arrived. Ye santosha pailana tomadarashane tahaite koti koti korilun bojane. I have become so satisfied by seeing you that I feel as if I've eaten millions of meals. Palamula naivejaye kichu take gare taha anagia aji kariba ahare. Please go and bring any fruits, roots, or prasad that you have, and I will eat that today. Uttara na kare kichu mishra jaganatha dukkha bhave mishra shire tiyadvi hata. Jagannath Mishra, however, did not say anything. He just held his head in his hands in distress. Vishwarupa Bholena Palite Vasi Bhaya Sahaje Karunak Sindhu Tume Mahashaya. Vishwarupa said, I hesitate to speak, but I know that you are an ocean of mercy. So the word Vasi means to feel, to realize, to think, or to get. Paraduke Khatara Swabhava Sadhu Jana Parera Nanda Se Vadaya Anukshara. Is the nature of saintly persons to be distressed on seeing the sufferings of others. They always try to make others happy. Etekeya Pareyade Niralashahaya Krishnara Navejakara Randana Karya. So if it is not too much trouble, please cook for Krishna again. The phrase Niralashahaya means accepting some voluntary hardship. Tabiyaji amara goshtira yata dukkha sakala kuchaye pai parananda sukha. Then my family's distress will be vanquished, and we will attain transcendental happiness. Viprabole randana harilundvi bara tatapya krishna nadilena kaibara. The Brahmana said, I've already cooked twice, yet Krishna has still not allowed me to eat. Teni bhushilana ajinahi kalikana Krishna ichanahi kene karaha yatana. I have therefore understood that he has not allotted any rice for me today. If Krishna's sanction is not there, why should we endeavor? So this is actually a very important point in relationship to the principles of bhakti, achahara payasa shap jalpam niyamagraha janasangashaloyam shasa bhakti vinashyati, from the nectar of instruction, that achahara payasa shap jalpam niyamagraha, prayasas, which Prabhupada defines as over-endeavoring. So what does over-endeavoring mean? Over-endeavoring means that when we see that Krishna doesn't want something, we don't endeavor for it. Or if we have to endeavor for something so much that we forget Krishna, we lose our sadhana, or we're not able to perform our sadhana, we become an anxiety, then we understand Krishna doesn't want it. That's all. One has to have that mature discrimination, because if you over-endeavor, that means that you think you're independent from Krishna, that you can do things by your own strength, endeavor, intelligence. And that is atheism. So one has to see Krishna's message. Of course, the order of the spiritual master is incontrovertible. In other words, if the spiritual master gives an order, you can't say, well, it's over-endeavor to fulfill that order. You have to figure out how to do it, Prabhu, like Prabhupada did. Even though from an external point of view, it may appear that like Prabhupada going to the West was over-endeavor, but because it was the order of his guru, it wasn't over-endeavor because it was Krishna's desire. That's the point. So if you know something's Krishna's desire, it's not over-endeavor. But at this particular point, the Brahmin, recognizing what Krishna had done to him, the 2 times he tried to offer, said, that's it, I'm not supposed to eat today, at least not supposed to eat cooked food. So this is a very important point about the practice and the principles of devotional service. Koti bhaksha dravya yare take nijakare krishnagya haile sakai bare pare yentine krishnara yare likanana haya koti yatna kuruka tatapi siddhanaya. One may have unlimited foodstuffs at home, he can eat only with Krishna's sanction. If Krishna does not allot anything on some day, then even by endless endeavor, one will never achieve a thing. Important instruction. Although one may have various foodstuffs at home for Krishna's enjoyment, if he does not sanction his remnants, no one will receive them. And if Krishna does not favor one, then one will certainly be unsuccessful in spite of unlimited endeavors. Service to the Supreme Lord is dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Mundane endeavor cannot produce success. Nisha Deda Prahara Luyova Yaya Ehateki Arapaka Karite Yuyaya. I'm going to continue reading right now, even though it's time for questions. It is practically the middle of the night. Is it proper to cook at this time? The word yuyaya means proper or reasonable. Atevaji yatna nakariya hara palamula kichu matra karimu ahara. Therefore, do not make any further arrangements for cooking today. I will simply eat some fruits and roots. The word kichu means a little. Visvarupa bolena nahika kona dosha tumi paka karile se sabara santosha. Visvarupa said, there will be no fault if you cook. Everyone will be satisfied. Etaboli Vishvarupa Darila Charana Sadite Lagila Sabe Karite Radana. Saying this, Vishvarupa caught hold of the Brahman's feet, and everyone else also requested him to cook. Vishvarupe Dikiya Mohita Vipra Vara Kariba Vrandana Vipra Balila Uchara. Enchanted by Vishvarupa, the Brahman said, all right, I'll cook. Santoshe sabe hari balite lagila stana upaskara sabe karite lagila. Everyone expressed their satisfaction by chanting the name of Hari. Ate vyate stana upaskari sava jane rantanera samagri anila tatakshane. They then quickly cleaned the kitchen and brought all the ingredients for cooking. Chalilena vipravara karite randana shishu avarya rahilena sarajana. Oh, hold on. Skipped a verse. The Brahmana then began to cook, and everyone escorted Nimai to another room. Palaya takura achena ye gare Misha Vasilena se garera du yare. Jagannath Mishra sat in front of the door where the child was detained. Sabe bolena banda bahira du yara bahira haite hena yena nahi pare ara. Everyone said, lock the door from the outside so they cannot get out. Everyone said, tie the door closed so he will not be able to untie it and get out. And we will continue, to be continued tomorrow. So there's a lot more of the story, so we wouldn't have time to finish it today anyway. So now we can stop sharing, and then we will allow you all to ask questions. Give me a second. We'll allow you to unmute yourselves. Okay, and you can ask questions either by typing in the chat window or raising your hand or unmuting yourself. It's a very interesting story.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Haribol!
Please accept my obeisances.
Accept my blessings. What's up?
So I really liked hearing the pastime about where, we're Jagannath Mishra was chasing Lord Chaitanya. That was funny. It made me think of Mother Yashoda chasing baby Krishna. And then I remembered, please correct me if I'm wrong, when I read in the Krishna book, it said that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj had a desire to be Krishna's parents in all of his pastimes. So I was wondering, is Jagannath Mishra Mother Yashoda?
Yes.
Okay.
Same person. Well, Jagannath Mishra is not Mother Yashoda. He's Nanda Maharaj.
Oh, he's Nanda. Oh, okay. I didn't know if like Mother Yashoda's soul was occupying. Do they have expansions or are they?
No. Mother Yashoda. No, Jagannath Mishra is the father, and Yashoda is the mother. So they don't switch genders.
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
So yeah, Nanda Maharaj is the father, so he becomes Jagannath Mishra, and Yashoda Mai becomes Shachi Mata.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no switching genders here for them. So here's a question in the chat window. Were they not concerned that they were overtaxing, actually, should be the question here. Overtaxing the Brahmana by making him cook over again? I guess they're concerned of not being able to feed him sort of overrode that particular concern. Especially, yeah, I was thinking about the same thing of making him cook at midnight. In other words, they're all up at midnight. Of course, we're going to see that the Brahman is not going to be overtaxed. He's going to be in ecstasy. But also because he had been fasting, they wanted to feed him. And sometimes you see that. Actually, I see that in my own interactions with people. I go to people's homes and they want to feed me, and I said, please don't feed me. And they said, they insist, you got to eat something. And then they make you eat more and more and more. And they're overtaxing. That's part of the culture. Like Prabhupada said, when you feeding someone, you just keep piling on the food until they put both their hands on top of the plate, so you can't put anything else on it. And there's some description you're supposed to burp twice that indicates you're full before they stop feeding you. So anyway, this is a cultural thing. It's nice, actually, it's the culture of hospitality. But yeah, I guess they were just completely concerned with their own position and having committed an offense, thinking they committed an offense, not allowing the Brahmanas to cook. Or it was their son who didn't allow the Brahmanas to cook. So somehow or other, they didn't consider it too much. So, any other questions or comments? Questions, comments? No? You go in one more minute. So tomorrow we'll continue reading this particular pastime, and we'll hear hopefully we get to the end of the pastime where we hear the ecstatic conclusion and how the Brahmana actually is able to eat, and then he is also in ecstasy at the same time. Okay, on that happy note, all glories to